Are you trying to decide if you should move to Ottawa or Toronto, Canada? Although both cities are relatively close in distance, they are two extremely different options. In this video, I will compare the two cities for you. As someone who has lived in Ottawa and in Toronto, I hope to provide you with some insight and some guidance on where to live. I will give you my honest opinions of both cities and will break down the differences between Ottawa and Toronto. Stick around to the end of this video where I will tell you which city, in my opinion, is better. Hi everyone, I'm Candice Trzmiel and I am a realtor here in Ottawa, Canada. If you are looking to move to Ottawa, check out my channel where I post videos to help answer some of the most common questions I get about the city. Okay, now let's get started. Here are the pros and cons of living in both Ottawa and Toronto. Ottawa has a reputation of being boring. In some ways, I do agree with this narrative, but if you know where to go and when, I promise you will not be bored in this city. There are so many different pockets of Ottawa to explore and things to see and do. Toronto is a vibrant, busy city. There are plenty of things to do, and Toronto has some of the best restaurants in the world. A major negative about the city is the traffic. Of course, we have traffic in Ottawa as well, but the traffic in Toronto can be unbearable. More often than not, it is quicker to walk places in Toronto than drive. In the wintertime, this is not exactly ideal. In Ottawa, you can drive pretty much everywhere, and most of the time parking is free after work hours. This is just not the case in Toronto. When I lived there myself, I really missed being able to take my car to get groceries instead of lugging them all home while walking. The cost of living in each city is drastically different. Everything in Toronto is a lot more expensive, and that includes living expenses. Toronto rent and home prices are some of the highest in the world. In Ottawa, your money will go a lot further. Many people are moving to Ottawa just so they can afford a home, as in Toronto, it is so far out of reach. Something you might not have thought about is the airport. Here in Ottawa, there are almost no direct flights. Although we do have a major airport, it's not a hub. You more often than not have to connect out of Toronto, Montreal, or the Newark airport to get to your destination. Obviously, this is quite annoying. Now, if you live in Toronto, there are tons of direct flights to places all over the world. This can make travel much more enjoyable. The people in Ottawa and Toronto actually differ a lot. From living in both cities, I can say that the people in Ottawa are much nicer. This is actually one of the main reasons I enjoy living in Ottawa so much. People are just a lot friendlier, and this makes a huge difference when it comes to the workplace. I have had much better experiences with coworkers here in Ottawa than in Toronto, and it has had a huge impact on my quality of life. The transit in Toronto is actually much better than Ottawa. In Toronto, you have the subway, the streetcar, the bus, and the train. There are just so many options that work and really work well. Here in Ottawa, we have the OC Transpo bus, which in my opinion is terrible, and our LRT system, which is newer to the city and is being expanded. Ottawa has a lot of catching up to do when it comes to the transit system. In Ottawa, I think owning a car is essential, where in Toronto, most people do not have a car at all. Toronto actually has milder winters than we do here in Ottawa. There is a lot less snow, and the temperature can often be a couple degrees warmer than here in Ottawa. Don't get me wrong, Toronto winters are still cold, but if you absolutely hate the snow, Toronto might be the place for you. Okay, so although my opinion might be biased as I am a resident of Ottawa, I will stand firm on the belief that Ottawa is the better city. Ultimately, I think Ottawa offers a better quality of life. There are so many job opportunities and the city is rapidly expanding. The cost of living in Ottawa is a lot more affordable, and the people here are some of the best in the world. For those reasons, I think Ottawa wins this one. If you're watching this and are shaking your head, please mention in the comments why Toronto is the better city. As always, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions about the Ottawa area, please reach out. My contact information is in the description below.